So I thought I would have a look at how ChatGPT advised me to play the stock market. And I found something that's pretty concerning. So I have been using ChatGPT, the GPT-3 this is. I haven't paid for the GPT-4 version. And at one point it said it didn't know anything about stuff after 2021, but maybe it does. So let's take a look. Anyway, this is the S&P 500. I started back in 2017. Mostly because I changed my investing strategy then and wanted to know what happened and what I should have done. So anyway, if you see this, the S&P opened right at the start of the year, was around 2250, around 2250. Went up and down over time. There's the little crash at the end of the Christmas crash in 2019. Back kind of down to about that 2,300, 2,400 range. Then it went up all the way through to 2020 to like 3,500. Then there was the very quick crash of COVID, and then on the big boom post-COVID until the end of 2022. So when it got to as high as nearly 4,800, so nearly double what it had been back at 2017. And then the last year and change, it's gone all the way down to from 4,700, bounced around, been as low as back at 3,500, and now it's at around 4,000. Okay, so remember that. Basically, we're at 4,000. If you had put money in at back at the start of 2017, when it was just over 2,000, you'd probably, with dividends reinvested, depending when you bought and sold and what have you, in a mutual fund, had roughly double your money, maybe 85% increase over that time. So I went and asked ChatGPT about this, and I said, okay, if I put $1 million in the S&P 500 index fund back then, what would it be worth now? And the answer is, they say, approximately 2.7 million. All right. I screwed up by calling the wrong number. Anyway, then I looked at it and said, okay, according to historical, how do you come up with this? It says according to historical data, the return was all these different returns, which I think are right. I mean, I didn't check the individual one, but 2018 wasn't such a good year because the Christmas crash, only up 6%. 2017 was a pretty good year, 21%. 2019, huge bump in 2022 because of the COVID bump. And then, sorry, in 2020, and then but then it says 27.5% in 2022. That's kind of weird. So then I asked, what happened in 2022? And he goes, oh, whoops. No, it wasn't 27%. It was 26.9%. That's weird. So I said it was asked to restate that. It came back with these different numbers. So then I asked it just a basic question. What was the S&P 500 on January 1, 2022? And it said it opened at 4,700. So what was on December the 31st? It closed at 4,800. I went, hang on, that's not right. Remember going back to here? It opened around about 4,700, which should be higher. But by the end of the year, it closed down at like 3,800. So way down. So I said, look, this is wrong. According to the Yahoo Finance, it closed at 38.39 at the end of December. He goes, whoops. I apologize for the error. You're correct. The S&P 500 did not close at 4,800. Not sure what happened. According to Yahoo Finance, as I said, it closed at 3,800. Great. So I said, can you check your other return percentages? I said, sure. I apologize for any previous errors. Here's the correct annual return. What's happened? 2022, back up at 26% when it was actually negative. What was it? It was negative, about negative 15%. So I said, hang on, I lost it. But, oh, you're right. It did this. And anyway, but then it said lost. It's just got a whole bunch of random numbers, just wrong. Then I said, well, and it says it's still up at 22%. So, well, how do you calculate the 2022 return? You just told me the index closed low at the start of the year. And eventually, says it represents a decline of 17%. So I don't know what this means. Why is ChatGPT getting this wrong? I mean, this is like basic stuff. You'd assume that this is a simple calculation from publicly available data. I understand why it's getting it so wrong and why it keeps on having to be corrected. But just one of those sort of question marks about how brilliant this technology is. And again, I'm using the old ChatGPT 3. When I say old, it was only got replaced a few weeks ago. But it's obviously not as smart as it should be.